Okay, before you come for me, hear me out. So the Goodreads Choice Awards have been happening since 2009. And as usual, when the nominees or winners get announced, there's all of this outrage. Usually it's related to the lack of diversity within the nominees, but also around the stupidity of the category changes every year. Things like removing several children's categories or nonfiction categories and making multiple books that are vastly different battle against each other, and simply reducing the number of slots available to highlight another book or author. And then, of course, introducing categories like romantasy or audiobooks without really giving any thought into what books should fit into these categories and what this category means. And then, of course, the internal rules of the awards as well, and how a single author can be nominated multiple times within the same category with different books, and how all of this is generally built to prop up and profit popular white authors whose publishers have been already throwing bucket loads of money behind. All this aside, I know many people will be like, oh, well, we should abandon Goodreads overall. We should all switch over to Storygraph. And on a high level, I agree. But on the level of the current state of publishing and the way that it is for BIPOC authors and marginalized authors, I think we still need to factor Goodreads into things. Unfortunately, the publishing industry still puts so much weight behind Goodreads. Prior even to books getting published, they need to have a lot of want-to-read shelves for the publisher to believe that they need to put more behind it. The Goodreads Choice Awards, like any other awards, also generate a lot of buzz and interest in the books that are nominated. There are so many people who will pick up those books simply because they were nominated in the awards. And when you're a marginalized author, that interest can be huge. I know a lot of people love Storygraph, and so do I, but it is built more primarily for personal reading tracking. It is not built in the same social way that Goodreads is, and it also doesn't have the same editorial function that Goodreads has, in the sense that Goodreads has all of these articles and listicles that recommend books, and those are another way that books get highlighted and how marginalized authors get discovered. Goodreads is considered a actual media platform versus just a app for tracking your reading. I also don't think it's bad to push back on a major platform and ask it to do better. If we simply only create separate places for marginalized and BIPOC authors, we are not going to make much of a change amongst the people who do need to change. I think until we find a better alternative to Goodreads that fulfills all of its functions, and until we build up that platform to have the same weight in the industry as Goodreads, I think we're doing a disservice to marginalized authors by not supporting them on Goodreads. So my point here is, whether you use Goodreads or not, whether you think it's bad or not, I still think it's worth adding the marginalized authors' books to your want-to-read shelves, voting for them in the Goodreads Choice Awards, and rating their books highly on the platform so that we can counteract just the awfulness of the industry. Unfortunately, change is not a quick and easy thing. It is a slow and laborious process, and I think we just need to be cognizant of that. Because ultimately, if we abandon marginalized authors on this major platform, then we are feeding into the narrative that publishers have already kind of bought into, that no one wants to read books by diverse authors and that no one will support them.